How to fix Diablo 4. Let me explain how to fix Diablo 4. Number 1, you put in more good stuff. Number 2, you take out the bad stuff. And you just keep doing that. Yeah, put more good things in, take the bad stuff out. I saw that because you imply that there are developers. What makes you think that? Yeah. All right.
Do you have definitive plans to grow? Are you enjoying the 1K viewer level? If you're asking me if I would enjoy having more viewers than I have now, as a content creator, it doesn't matter what my number is, the answer will always be yes.
Yes.
I definitely think that D4 is good for a while. By Season 3, if the game isn't massively improved,
wait, he's not playing the meta spec that does the most damage? Why? Does he want to lose? Why isn't he playing the best spec? Why is he's not following the guide on the website that tells you how to play the game? Does he not have the right stats that the website tells you to have? What's he doing? Like, this isn't the right, because the thing is, like, I thought you were supposed to use the right spec for all the right things. What is this?
And we will be full-time variety. I have faith, but same. I think the game will be massively improved by Season 3. You can call it copium or whatever you want.
Well, I think it probably will be better. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it'll get a lot better. He made a video about why he's using the build. Yeah, I'm just joking around. But I do think the game will over time improve. Of course it will. And by Season 10, it might actually work. But, you know, I mean, sure, yeah, I think it'll get better every season, hopefully. Right? It's just that, like, at that point, people have already played a lot of seasons. And, like, is it going to be different enough to have people come back and play it again? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they released the game because they were locked into a release date. There was things they still wanted to fix, like resistances, and they need a few seasons to iron it out. So the people that don't have the patience are going to leave, which is a perfectly acceptable opinion to have, by the way. And I get it. The game's a little dry right now for me, too. What about D4 expansions if seasons aren't great?
See, the game isn't dry for me. I'm going to explain how I can enjoy Diablo 4. I play it for a few hours a day. That's how I enjoy the game. Is I only play it for a few hours a day, maybe at most. Like, usually I play it for like 1 hour. Because I could tell like 2 elixirs, right? That's like 2 30-minute things. And then I'm just like, okay, I'm going to go do something else. Like Honkai Sorrow. Yeah, like, I mean, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? And it's been like the most healthy thing for me to do.
I'm going to be honest. If they can't get seasons right, then I don't give a fuck about expansions.
Yeah,
seasons are a core fundamental of the game.
That's so true. Because, like, if they... Dude. What the hell is an expansion going to be? It's just going to be a really big season. You know, game's not your life. Yeah, who gives a fuck? Like, yeah, I'm not going to get worried about that.
I think they are showing the potential to be pretty good. I don't believe they're currently pretty good. I'm willing to give them time to develop it, and I'm not going to be a rage lord over it, but yeah, I definitely have my concerns. I think it has good bones, and I think there's a lot of potential, and there's a lot of things that they can do that are very minor changes that will massively improve the game.
Yeah.
Once those get added, we'll see how it flushes out. Like, what changes?
Yeah, so, like, all they need to do is, like, again, how to fix Diablo 4. Step 1, take out the bad stuff. Step 2, put in the good stuff. Problem fucking solved. So, like, for example, Cold Enchanted, you take that out of the game. And then instead, you put in a new unique that's cool. Problem solved.
I think we can start with having resistances fixed in Season 2 and see what it looks like when resistances are actually in the game.
Yeah.
I think that there's still some smoothing out that can happen with the power leveling in terms of 1 to 100. I think in particular the 80 to 100 experience is a bit unenjoyable and repetitive. I think World Tier 5 will help.
I actually didn't mind 80 to 100. Oh, that's Cold Enchanted. He's about to have a bad time if he doesn't one-shot him. I think 80 to 100 was okay whenever I was doing it on my Barbarian, and I could just get Paragon levels really fast because I was spamming Nightmare Dungeons. The problem was whenever I couldn't do that. That's whenever, like, because, like, now you can't level as fast.
help smooth out this graph a little bit. I think grinding to 50 is actually pretty fun, and then
Yeah,
you
it's
get
alright.
to World Tier
Sure.
3 and you feel a big spike of power, and then 50 to
Yeah.
4 feels like a pretty good grind.
It
Even you get to
does.
4 and you get the Ancestral Gear and you get powered up. But then by the time you're about level 80 in Tier 4, there's not really a lot to do. You feel like you've maxed out. At this point, you're leveling just to level,
Yeah.
and you're pushing Nightmare Dungeons, etc. When they add World Tier 5, there will be more...
And keep in mind, Nightmare Dungeons actually are the same dungeons you've been doing. So it might say it's a Nightmare Dungeon, but the truth is it's the same dungeon that you did at level 9. It's just the numbers are bigger. Isn't that exciting?
experience to be gained from it. They can also use that to remove things like sacred item drops that are happening in World Tier 4. So it's like you go to 5, now you only get Ancestral Gear, you get more experience,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more challenging. It makes the overarching levels of the world make a little bit more sense. Now, World Tier 5 doesn't solve like the overarching issue of having no content in the game. What it does is it just...
Yeah, it doesn't. Like World Tier 5, because like World Tier 3, you're only in World Tier 3 long enough to get to World Tier 4. So if they add World Tier 5, you're like Quinn brought this up. I think he's right. If you add World Tier 5, you're just going to be in World Tier 4 long enough to get to World Tier 5. And that's it. The same problem's going to happen.
adds a little bit of a better graph, a little bit better of a curve to getting to level 100. Then they still need basically the seasons to start being good and to have more content than just the hearts. I think the hearts are cool, but it should have been like one of 3 mechanics in the game. So I think there's a lot of quality of life they're working on. For instance, we're seeing this with the horse. He tweeted out that the horse spacebar is going to blow through barricades now. Stuff like that actually does go a long way. I also think that pushing everyone into the nightmare dungeons all of the time is actually fundamentally a bad idea. Like, I think the more and more
So true. So fucking true. It is boring. Like, we have Helltide, we have the Legion events, you have the world bosses. The outdoor content is just simply a backdrop. It's annoying. Nobody wants to be out there because the levels are too low. Like, what the fuck are they thinking? It's so weird because, yeah, why would you not want to farm nightmare dungeons all of the time? Yeah, it's just they're too efficient for everything.
or we focus on nightmare dungeons, like increase the density, increase the experience, increase the
Yeah.
loot, and then we forget about the fact that the overworld is the newest part of Diablo, and that the overworld itself
It's irrelevant.
is actually a significant part of what people
The
do.
overworld is over.
Makes the experience small. They made this huge game, but then they funnel everyone into the same part of
Yeah.
the game. And the dungeons that you do in the nightmare dungeons aren't even all of the dungeons in the game. So while
And they're fucking annoying. Like, I don't want to have to... Oh, my God. Rescue 6 prisoners? Oh, my God. Then there's an anima bar? But the affix has the death on effect. So I have to wait for the death on effect to go away for me to then go in and collect the anima. But then, oh, there's 2 death on effects because it was a fire mob, too. Fuck, guys, I gotta wait down.
they made this big, awesome, cool, visually, nice world, they only show you the instanced part of it because that's where they crammed all the rewards. It's not like they can't make the overworld events and stuff have better experience. They absolutely can. So I don't
But they're worried, like, what if they do that, and then everybody starts exploiting and doing world, oh my God, everybody's gonna start doing world events, and then they're gonna have people AFK. But what if they start getting more experience than what the graph is supposed to allow to happen? Oh my God, and then it would just be chaos. Jesus, bro, like, Blizzard, what are they thinking?
Understand why we're not seeing significant buffs to overworld events. I don't understand why we're not seeing significant buffs to the world bosses. Legion events now get a guaranteed legendary. Cool, that's great, but jack that shit up by 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
Helltides is a good example of a cool thing to do.
No, it needs to give experience, man. Like, fuck the loot. It needs to give you experience that is valuable.
Overworld, I agree. But there's absolutely zero logic to not buffing the absolute fuck out of overworld events.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, Nightmare Dungeons are still the best thing in the game. They're still increasing the density, and they're still making them better and better and better. But if what they want us to do is the same...
And the Nightmare Dungeon events should be better, too. How many of you guys skip the events? Yeah, I skipped the game. Based.
Same goddamn dungeon over and over and over
Based
again.
D4
They're going to
bad.
drive people away from the game. So for me, I do believe that they should have a much more significant focus on the overworld. That
Yeah,
is
I
what
think so,
makes
too.
this game unique compared to the other Diablos.
True.
I don't know if forcing people into instances is better for server load or something, but I actually don't really care because it doesn't feel like my problem to solve. Yeah, I think world bosses should be harder. They should give more experience. Maybe the lower levels are fine. The higher tier should be buffed the way the fuck up. And they should give...
They should try to do a world boss that you can only do with like a 4-man group and make it really hard, like a Legion raid and or a Guardian in Lost Ark. Just do it. See what happens.
significant rewards. I actually said that about the world bosses like a month ago. I was saying something they could do is literally have the world bosses be a big dick loot drop of XP. So that way it actually feels like, oh my god,
people actually want to go do
there's
them.
a loot boss available. Let's go do it. At the moment, it feels like,
and it's also like the timer on world bosses. Like people told me this, like I'm home all day playing video games, so like who cares about me, right? But like there's a lot of people that like have this thing called a job. And so they'll go to their job and they'll come home and they don't know whenever the world boss is going to spawn.
I feel like fucking
so they end up not being able to kill them.
No, I want experience. All right, I'll keep doing the dungeons over and over again. So I think there's immediately obvious, easy ways to improve the flow of the game a little bit with only changing numbers and not having to introduce new content, personally. I think that there's ways to do it. Whether or not there's issues that I don't see related to that, balancing issues, power leveling issues, boosting issues, I don't...
Who cares? Like, I'm so sick of the game being bad because of 5 exploiters. Like, I'm so sick of, like, Blizzard making, like, you know, for example, WoW is having this problem right now where it's, like, Augmentation Evoker, which is, like, the new class, it's a new spec for the new class, is, like, really overperforming and it's really cool. And people can't figure out how to start parsing and understand how parsing works with Augmentation Evoker. So everybody wants it taken out of the game because it's like frying WoW players' brains, the idea that there's a support class that you can't just look at the number and be like, oh, bigger number, better character. And that's it. It's happening in a lot of games. Yeah, it's pathetic. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard completely changed it because of that. Yeah, they can't handle it. It's so stupid.
No. But I definitely think there are some ways available to fix some of that. Yeah, I don't think you have to increase the overworld's difficulty in order to buff the rewards. As it stands, no one's doing the overworld farm. Like, people aren't running in a circle in the overworld like it's in Mordo. People don't farm the events for XP unless they're AFK with a Necromancer. So
yeah, that's actually a really good point, is that there was more outdoor world activity in Diablo Immortal than there is in Diablo 4. There it is.
I think it's fine to keep the difficulty exactly the same while increasing the rewards. I think that'd be fine. So that at least it's in the conversation of, oh, well, what do you do for experience? Well, I like Tree of Whispers. Like, at least that's a conversation instead of, like, we all know the answer already. Tree of Whispers is a chore. I actually really like doing Tree of Whispers. For me, it's the most fun. Like, I actually like it the best. But I feel like I'm wasting my time when I do it. I do like it when it lines up with stuff that I have to do anyway for Renown. Then it feels really nice. Rewards suck from Tree. Yeah, fair enough. But, like, I at least like doing it. Which is, I think, another opportunity for a buff there, probably. I actually
Well, that's what matters, right? Is, like, if you actually like doing the content. And I feel like nobody ever talks about this. But, like, yeah, that's what really matters. Is the content fun to do?
I don't believe like the design of the overworld is actually bad at all.
I gave up Helltides when I made it 250. Yeah, like I don't like doing Helltides either because it just takes too long.
I think that the way the events are spread out, the Helltides, the Tree of Whispers, the dungeons everywhere, I actually think like it's a really solid bone layout. I think we just get the balance of rewards right. It'll feel pretty good. Wish we can just...
Well, that's the same problem with every Blizzard game, is that they can't balance the game.
Enjoy it for what it is now? Well, I'm enjoying it for what it is now. I'm just answering a question.
Yeah, I enjoy, yeah, sure, like that's fine, it's good. I mean, I'm kind of having fun, I guess, but like, goddamn, like it's just every game that they have It's just there are these massive imbalances in the game. It's almost like they do it on purpose. It's like, how is it that like every Blizzard game that comes out, there's like some massive problem with it to the degree that like it's unplayable for anybody else that's playing something besides that. It's just nuts how this shit keeps happening over and over. I really don't understand it at all. And people keep buying them? Yeah, I know. Well, it's just that they buy them and then they leave. Like, that's what the problem is.